Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Atikah Yuniar Rahma from Class A English Department 2021. This video was made to fulfill a poetry assignment with lecturer Mr. Amarullah, M.Pd. In this video, I would like to analyze a poem. The title is The More Loving One by W.H. Auden. But before that, I would like to convey a biography of W.H. Auden. Winston U. Auden, widely known as W.H. Auden, wrote the poem The More Loving One in 1957. This poem is about unrequited love. Auden is most recognized now for his poetry. He was British novelist, dramatist, and poet. Much of his early work mirrored the political problems he witnessed while traveling throughout the world. Later on, his poem would incorporate more religious and spiritual depths. Auden later relocated to America and became a citizen, winning the Pulitzer Prize in 1948 for his epic poem, The Age of Anxiety. Auden returned to Europe when his health began to worsen, and he died on September 29 in 1973 at the age of 66 at his residence in Vienna, Austria. The summary of this poem is: The More Loving One is a poem in which ecstatic metaphor is used to convey the speaker's feelings as the victim of unrequited love. Auden employs ecstatic metaphor of stars to represent the lovers who do not share their feelings for their pursuers. The speaker recognizes that the stars don't give a damn, but he still admires them. He also knows that if the star vanished, he will be able to overcome his feelings for them after some time. For the historical background of this poem, as previously noted, this poem was composed in 1957, following Auden's more political poetry. Auden would write several poems on unrequited love, but this is his most renowned. Many critics say Auden was all too familiar with unrequited love. While remaining in Europe, the poet had a short marriage. Erika Mann, the daughter of German writer Thomas Mann, married Auden to escape Nazi Germany. The couple split once she was securely in England. After relocating to the United States, Auden met and fell in love with fellow poet Chester Coleman. Even though homosexual relationships were frowned upon that time, the pair lived openly. And when Auden died, he left his inheritance to Coleman. Readers have frequently regarded this poem as a religious allegory, and much of Auden's subsequent writing does contain religious themes. Many people identify the stars referenced in this poem as God, and one's connection with Him might feel one sad at times. One cannot physically see or converse with God. Instead, one must have blind confidence that He exists. Regardless of how the poem is interpreted, the beauty and splendor of Auden imagery and diction are apparent. Next, I would explain about physical features. This poem, which can be read in its full form, is divided into 4 stanzas of 4 lines each, for a total of 16 lines. There are 2 themes in the More Loving One poem. The first one is the pain and beauty of unrequited love. So while love is frequently disappointing, the speaker in Auden's The More Loving Ones muses that is still valuable. Personifying the stars as distant, uncaring beloved, the speaker resolved that even if the stars don't give a damn about him, he will continue to love the stars for a while at least. This poetry says that unrequited, flawed, transitory, or unpleasant love is preferable to no love at all. Looking up at the stars, the speaker is confident they aren't looking back. A picture that alludes to the angst of unrequited love. The stars are classic metaphors of faithful lovers. Their constant radiance encourages fidelity, and their beauty resembles the beauty of a beloved face. The stars, however, appear completely unconcerned to the speaker of this poem. For all they care, the speaker continues, I can go to hell. If these stars symbolize a beloved, it is a beloved who doesn't give a damn about the speaker. And the speaker is well aware of this. However, the speaker observed that this is not the worst case scenario. It is preferable to love something that doesn't love you back than to be the object of a passion that you cannot return. If equal affection cannot be, that is, if the speaker and beloved can feel the same way about each other, it is far preferable to be the more loving one than the indifferent party. This proclamation implies that falling in love, even if it's unrequited, is a positive thing in and of itself. The speaker comments that being loved by someone you can't love you back is simply uncomfortable. Loving someone who is unable to love you may be as gratifying as it is heartbreaking. Those stars may seem uninterested, but they are still lovely. The speaker goes on to say that unrequited love is also worth enduring because, contrary to popular belief, love does not last forever. Even the most ardent admirer of the stars might come to accept the total dark if all of the stars disappear or die. In other words, the speaker understands that their unrequited love isn't eternal or overwhelming, and that they can overcome it, though as they understandably know this might take me a little time. The concept that love fades may be disheartening, but it may also be soothing. In this speaker's opinion, love isn't all it's made up to be. It's frequently plagued by unequal affection, and it's nowhere like as consistent as the stars. Disappointed lovers heal slowly but steadily. All of this flow, however, does not indicate that it is not worthwhile to bear the weight of love. The second thing is meaning and meaningless. Looking up at the stars, the speaker in More Loving One has an unusual lyrical view of the heavens. For all they care, he says, I can go to hell. This poem implies that the stars do not direct people's fortunes as is commonly assumed. However, just because this cosmos is uninterested in humans doesn't mean that humanity can or should be uninterested in the universe. Even as all views about the meaning of life fade away, people, according to this poem, continue to discover ways to perceive the world as sublime and inspiring. The stars do not give a damn about the humans who gaze up at them so tenderly. The speaker argues, contradicting many odd literary and theological tradition in which the stars represent fate or the gods protecting guidance. Even if the universe isn't intrinsically meaningful watching or caring, the speaker believes it's worthwhile to be the more loving one, to perceive beauty and purpose in stars, even if the stars aren't staring back affectionately. In fact, the speaker continues, it may be possible to discover beauty in a world without stars, to regard the complete darkness of a night sky as sublime, rather than terrifying empty. This graphic represents an attempt to find significance in the world even when previous notions about meaning fade away completely, such as fear a loss of religion. The speakers advises that it may take me a little time to learn to appreciate a new type of beauty in the sky without the old familiar guiding light, but it's not impossible. The poem indicates that being human entails discovering or making meaning in the world, even if the world doesn't provide much encouragement in return, with imagery of witnessing stunning, sublime beauty among indifferent stars, or even more indifferent darkness. Stars have long been associated with faith, love, and the gods. However, in this poetry, they perform the opposite function. The stars, according to the speaker, represent not meaning and sentiment, but the indifference of feeling a meaningless world. The personified stars in this poem might also represent an indifferent lover, someone the speaker cares profoundly about, but who doesn't give a damn about the speaker. So this symbol appears in the poem in the first line, second line, 5th, 6th, 9th, 10th, 13th, and 15th lines. Then I would like to explain about acoustic features. The more loving one is written in rhyme couplets like A, B, 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 C, C, D, D, and so on. In other words, each quatrain used to pair rhymes in row. Looking up at the stars, I know quite well is A. That for all they care, I can go to hell is A. But on earth, indifference is the least is B. We have to dread from man or beast is B. This rhyme scheme lends itself to humor. Each of the speakers' dry assertions about the indifferent resolved with a punchline. Sometimes, of course, those punchlines feel more rueful and hilarious. Consider the rhymes in the line from which the poem draws its title. If equal affection cannot be, let the more loving one be me. Auden could have praised the same idea all sorts on different way. Let me be the more loving one, to name the most obvious example, by saving up the revelation that the speaker would prefer the more loving one to be me, attracting attention to the word with the end rhyme. The poem depends the poignancy of this moment, what the speaker wished for. After all, is not quite ideal. It's a preference one only has to state if equal affection cannot be. The more loving one is written in a sensual tetrameter. That means that each of its lines use 4 strong beats, but doesn't stick to any particular flavor of metrical food. For instance, listen to the rhymes of line 2. That for all they care, I can go to hell. Here, those 4 steady beats per line appear alongside plenty of snappy, pattering, unstressed syllables. Through a mixture of anapath, metrical feet with a da-da-dum rhythm, as in At the Stars, and Iams feet with a da-dum rhythm, as in To Hell. The quick pace density of the rhythm here helps to give these lines their casual, really funny tone. The speaker's voice sounds rather jaunty even in a description of the indifferent universe. Compare that busy rhythm to the simplicity of lines 9 and 10. Admire as a Atikah of stars that do not give a damn. Here, the poem resolves into strict hate iambic tetrameter, 4 iams per line, a fittingly even, steady tone for the speaker honest admissions that really their admirations of the stars only go so far. Lastly, I would explain about the lexical features. The more loving one, poetic devices and figurative language, that is personification. In the very first lines of the poem, the speaker personifies the stars. Looking up at the stars, I know quite well that for all they care, I can go to hell. On one level, the speaker is making a point about a non-caring universe here, saying that the stars are utterly unresponsive to humanity. The speaker portrays the stars not merely as unfeeling balls of gas dancing in the night. However, figures who could care and simply don't. These stars do not give a damn sound an awful lot like a person who is indifferent to the speaker. That idea gathers steam when the speaker asks, "How should we like it? Were stars to burn? With a passion for us we could not return." Note that no mention of passion appeared in the first stanza. Yet, the way the speaker phrases these lines implies a turnabout. What if the stars were in love with us the way we're in love with the stars? In other words, the stars here suggest not just any indifferent person, but someone with whom the speaker is in unrequited love. This personification helps to give poem its subtle depth of feeling. While the speaker's voice sounds boring, the distancing image of the star suggests a person trying to manage a painful romantic disappointment by philosophizing about it. So where personification appears in the poem, there are in the first, second, fifth, sixth, and the 10th lines. For the first and second lines is looking up at the stars, I know quite well that for all they care I can go to hell. For the fifth and sixth lines, how should we like it for stars to burn? With a passion for us we could not return. And the 10th lines, stars that do not give a damn. Another figurative language of this poem is assonance. So assonance refers to the repetition of vowel sounds in the same line, such as the sound of E and O in How Should You Like It? Stars burn, and E again in We Have to Trade for Man or Beast. And the last one is alliteration. Alliteration is known as the repetition of consonant sounds in the same line, such as the sound TH in Though This Might Take. That's all from me. Thank you, and I apologize for the mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.